Welcome to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends, the podcast where we explore life, career, relationships, and pop culture through a Christian conservative perspective. Each episode, we dive into deep topics that matter most to us women, from navigating your career with grace and confidence to watering meaningful relationships grounded in faith. We're here to empower you to embrace your femininity and stand firm in your beliefs. We'll also tackle the latest in pop culture, discussing how they align or clash with our values. Let's uncover the truth and encourage each other to live boldly and authentically. So whether you're at home or on your commute, get ready for some fabulous conversations. Grab your teacup, pour yourself some tea. Come on, girlies, we're changing culture. The views expressed on this podcast are our own and do not reflect our employers. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. You are listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
I'm Elise.
And we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. Welcome to another episode of Those Are the Girls, Mallory and Friends. This is a Teacap. Schedule is all kind of wonky this week. Don't worry about why. It's just a little wonky this week. So you're getting an episode that should have come out on Monday, on a Thursday. Honestly, maybe even a Friday. But that's okay. The topics we're going to be talking about are relevant no matter what day of the week it is.
Amen.
Elise, welcome back. I'm super happy to have you back on the show.
Yay.
Oh,
no, I just really feel like I've broken the fourth wall. Like I've really made my appearance. And now I'm here and this is great. It's a great place to be. But before I interrupted you so very rudely, my apologies. You were going to ask me, I think, how my week was.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, look at you. You do listen to the episodes.
I'm a regular around these parts. I know a thing or two.
Okay.
It's good. I started a new serving. Oh, there's a bug. I've had a lot of stink bugs in my house. It's just the time of year where they find their way in. I don't have like a problem. They're just here. Anyway. So I started a new serving job and it's been I'm still in training. So that's kind of annoying because it's like I'm not really getting a good gauge of how well I'm going to do with like tips and stuff once I'm really serving. But it's fun. I like my coworkers. The first day after I was like, I don't know if this is the right place for me. I don't know if I like the people. I don't know if it's going to be like a good work experience because again, I'm just trying to kind of like fill time until my
Wait, why did you feel like it would be good?
Just before you get to know people in a restaurant, sometimes it's hard to know like who's good people and who's like just trying to get through their shift and not really like gonna do the work that they need to do, or like if they're gonna help you out when you need it or whatever, like just sometimes there's like a culture of like backbiting or like, well, Chelsea said this, well, like just like nonsense stuff, it's we're all here to work, but people sometimes just want to like run their mouths and avoid any effort whatsoever. So at first I was like, I had a couple restaurants that I was looking at to just try and like earn some tips and, like make money. And so I was kind of like, the other one seemed kind of like, almost more small businessy, like everyone likes everyone, knows and like just kind of we all work together and like just really like good vibes. And so the one that I ended up with, I chose because I think I'll be able to like do better there. It'll be busier, but then I was like, but maybe it'll be more of a like almost a corporate feel. And I'm like, I don't really know that was the vibe I was looking for. But now that I'm like a few days in and I'm getting more like confident and comfortable around the restaurant, it's like that, like I actually like way more people here than I don't feel like I get along with as well. So that'll be really good. And it'll be fun once I have people like start giving out my schedule to friends or whatever, and I'm like, hey, you guys can come visit me, and like once I can kind of do my own thing, I think that'll be cool. So I'm getting more excited as the days go on. I'm just trying to avoid any kind of like natural disaster, like Elise natural disaster that makes me, look stupid or cry or what have you. So that's the latest.
Okay.
What about you? Why are you laughing so much? Did I say something stupid?
No, no.
Okay.
What you said was funny. James is calling me.
Oh, should we answer? Tell him he's live on the podcast.
Should I? Maybe.
It could be funny.
Yeah, why not? James, you're live on the podcast. Those are the girls. I'm recording with Elise. How can I help you? You are live.
I'm live? Oh, okay, wow, that's crazy. I was just thinking about both of y'all. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is going to be great. And then this is live?
What? This is live.
I mean, I told Mallory I'd be down. I'm down for any podcast, anytime, anywhere. Evidence is this is the receipt right here. So, I'm good for it.
And what would our podcast be about? Let me pray on it. No, I'm just joking.
I'll work on her. I'm gonna add that right after Mallory goes to the doctor, is convince Mallory to join a second podcast. Because she doesn't have enough on her plate.
No, I mean, I'd be down. I can maybe turn it up a little. I'd be down to go to start a podcast.
Wow. Was something just born here?
Well, I definitely don't think it's a conversation for right now.
Look forward to. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and comment if you want more rowdy adventures like this.
Stay posted. Just go ahead, guys. True. No coughs allowed.
Okay, everyone, I'm trying.
No B, no Q, no cough.
No, don't. Okay. All right. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
My James.
That was so funny. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, everybody. Seriously.
Ooh. Everybody pray for Mallory. For real. Because this girl needs to catch one break in her life.
Seriously. And this cough, okay. Anyway, I don't want to get into the cough. We're
gonna ignore the cough. It's not there. It's not real.
Yeah, seriously, I'm ignoring it. Okay, so what's happened to me this week?
What a way to phrase that. What's happened to me this week? What have I gone through in the past 7 days?
That's low-key how it feels, but sorry. It's gotten worse because before recording this episode, I recorded an episode of my friend's podcast. It'll come out. I'll let you guys know when it comes out. And the more, if I talk a lot, then the coughing gets worse. Anyway, all right. I recorded a podcast. I love recording podcasts. I'm sure it's clear and obvious because, a normal person probably would have been like, you know what, girl, maybe don't record an episode. You're coughing too much. Not me. Not only am I not normal, I just enjoy this. So it was fun doing that. What else happened this week? Oh, I released a Sugar Baby episode of the podcast. I think it is a really good episode. I think you will really like it. Please listen. It is so good. Seriously. And it's just part 1. Part 2 will come out next week. What else happened to me this week? Writing club. I received an award for most improved. So that was nice. Elise received an award. Okay. Let me brag about Elise real quick. So we're both in a writing club. And what you do is you submit 2,000 words every week of your writing. It can be less than 2,000 words. Some people do more than 2,000 words, but you're only obligated to submit 2,000, or people are only obligated to critique 2,000 words. So you submit this and then the group critiques it. And then we go to the group and, you don't sit there and go, this was bad, this is bad, this is bad. You just kind of discuss a little bit I enjoyed this. I think you could improve this. This is an idea. Every week, Elise is there. She'll submit. We'll get there and then we'll go through. I don't really have there's nothing really wrong with this. There's nothing really wrong. Every single person, even there's a guy who has self-published 50 books, Brian. I don't know if you ever looked at Brian. Brian is a really, he's a legit author. He's done real stuff. It's truly his calling type of thing. Mm-hmm. Even though he does it for fun. If I could write like him and as fast as him, anyway. Even Brian, most of the time, is I don't really have anything. I don't really have it. She's an amazing writer. I cannot wait for you guys to read her book when it comes out. Definitely doing oops spoilers about it. It is so good. She's an amazing writer. I'm the most improved, which also means I was probably the worst. I was the worst. Whatever, that's fine. I'm more of a creative. I'm really good at the idea. It's the other part that sometimes I struggle with. But anyway, I received that award this week, and that really meant a lot. I actually hung it in my room.
I think I have mine I might have put it on my fridge. I think it's on my fridge. No, but like here's the thing about the like writing process and creative process in general is different people are really strong in different areas. So like while you had some things that you've grown in a lot as far as like um the way that you tell the story, you know, you're like putting the sentences together and the like word choices and that kind of thing, like you weren't terrible, but you have improved for sure, which is the goal for everyone. But you have always been really strong in like coming up with a story that's interesting. You know, like you never wrote anything that was boring. It just needed a little polishing. Like
Thank you.
whereas I wouldn't say that that's true for everyone I've ever read something from. It's like, okay, I don't care about this at all, you know? And so it's like, okay, you know, you kind of pick your poison. You're not going to be perfect in every area. All you can do is like work to improve in what you're weakest in, you know? So most improved is definitely a good award, but there are a multitude of things to be strong or weak in, you know, and that's true if you're like whether you're a dancer or a singer or a writer or an artist or whatever, you know, like the day that you think you have everything down pat is the day that something is going to come up and bite you in the butt, because there's always something that you're needing some improvement in. So your award is the best award.
Thank you so much. That was so kind of you to say.
You're welcome.
If you have any more advice, entertain the people while I go get a cough drop. I'll be right back.
Ooh, okay, people. Advice. There's a lot of pressure on me right now, and I hope everybody recognizes that. I guess something that I talked about a little bit with some of my other writer author friends earlier today on like a author chat that we did is and this couldn't apply to anyone, not just authors, but whatever project you're working on, you are doing enough if you're doing everything that you can do right now. So no, and that's like realistically. So if you think, oh, I should be able to, you know, do 2 hours of piano practice every day or get to the gym 6 days a week, and I like, because other people are doing that, so I should be able to do that. That might be realistic for them and might not be realistic for you. So my wise words of advice to everyone today are give yourself pats on the back for what you are accomplishing, because there are plenty of people every day that just throw up their hands and walk away and say, you know what, working out is too hard, you know, these dreams or these goals I have are too hard, writing is too hard, fill in the blank, whatever, and never touch it again. So if you're not doing that and you're just little by little adding towards your goal, you know, trying to accomplish something great or worthwhile, and you're doing everything you can do where with your mental health, your emotional health being what it is right now, like you're doing amazing. And when you're ready to contribute more towards that, you'll be able to contribute more towards that. But don't put the pressure on yourself to say, here's this high bar that I'm establishing, and if I don't meet that every day, every week, every month, then I am falling short in some way. No, there are seasons of life where you can't do as much, and there are going to be seasons where you can do more. It's all about stewarding your time well and, you know, respecting the gifts that God's given you. So that's my
That
word.
is such good advice. I want to add that is something that I'm working on in my personal life as well. It's just doing something toward the goal. I struggle with that when it comes to weight loss. If you are listening and you've been fat your whole life, you get you understand how it feels like you got to go 110% all the time or you're not going to lose weight. And it does feel that way. And like, obviously you do lose more weight when you're going 110%, but sometimes you can't for whatever reason. It could be a myriad of reasons. So at least doing something. At the very least, make sure you're doing something. And that's also what I'm doing with the book. Another person who's our friend in the group, she submits even if it's like 500 words. And I always feel like I can't submit if I don't have 2,000. But each week submitting is better than like not submitting. So just doing at least a little bit, I think really every goal you have, just doing a little bit makes a huge difference, because like Elise said too, when you're capable or out whatever funk you're in and you can do more, you would have still progressed, because the goal is just to, at the very least, progress. So that's your tips in life for today's episode.
You're welcome.
Now let's get into some tea. Do you have some form of cup?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
So ready.
Here we go. Clink. Oh, by the way, I was curious. I popped this.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, God, I don't know the name of it, but my mom gives it to me.
On Guard, I think.
It's called what?
On Guard. It's like an essential oil blend. I think it's orange, right?
Some might say it's red.
Okay. Well, either way, it's definitely an essential oil cough drop from doTERRA. We used to always have the On Guard ones, which is like cloves and I don't know what all is in it.
I think my mom gets it from Sprouts.
Yeah, they probably have it. I believe that Sprouts would be believers in the.
Yeah, I know it's whatever it is. It's very natural.
Mm-hmm.
And before I left, she was like, "You keep coughing. Please take these." So,
oh, bless her.
Yeah. Anyway, I am feeling a lot better, and I think it has gotten better.
Good.
All right, here we go. So, first thing I want to talk about, but it's not really like a thing to discuss. Really, I mean, it's just like a point of life. The Chiefs are playing the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I almost said the Supreme Court.
That would be something.
That would be something.
To see the Chiefs and Eagles in the Supreme Court. Not for long, just for like a day.
And fun fact, there is a basketball court in the Supreme Court building. So it's possible they could play like a pickup game.
You know that the Chiefs and Eagles aren't basketball teams, right?
Yes, I do know that. I do know that.
Okay.
But sports, people who are good at sports probably play more than one sport.
True. They probably are pretty handy with a basketball as well as a football. That's crazy. I never would have known that about the Supreme Court building.
Yeah, it's the highest court in the land.
Funny.
That's what they told us when I interned there. And the guy, like, you think I fake laughed? He cackled, okay? He thought he was so funny. Anyway, so Chiefs playing the Eagles. Boring. It's happened before. I know it's like not... and I'm going to sound like a dumb whatever. I think someone else should have a chance. Like, and I know that's not how it goes, but it's like, okay, we get it. The Chiefs are really good. All right.
Whatever. No, but here's the thing. Here is the thing. I think the ultimate end of the NFL is to, sure, demonstrate good football, but also to make money. Like, there are people who own these teams. There are people who own the, I want to say software. That's not the phrase. The network. You know, like, there are people who make money off of these games. And I do think Taylor Swift being involved with Travis Kelce has made the viewership of the NFL games and the Super Bowl go up. So, if people are saying, it's rigged, it's just blah, 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 I'm not going to tell them they're crazy because I think that you have a motive behind that, right? Do I think that the NFL is all fake? I don't care enough to make a definitive statement.
That point right there.
It doesn't bother me one way or the other if it's rigged or if it's not. But I will say it's kind of like, okay, yeah, the girly pops love that, Taylor's dating Travis Kelce, whatever. The, raging hordes of of Taylor Swift fans are watching the Super Bowl now. But also the actual people, I don't know how many of them there are, how comparable these numbers are that actually like watching football. They're very unhappy every time that Taylor Swift is on the TV instead of the football game. So I don't know how long, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that was last year's motivation for rigging the game. I don't know if that would be applicable to this year.
I agree with you on that. That's the only thing. Like, how long are people going to be watching? Like, take out me, not caring about sports. Favorite team is the East Coast Wildcats. But realistically, let's say they are rigging it. How long are people going to care? Because I do think after a while, people who are watching for Taylor are not going to keep watching for Taylor because it's like if you don't care, how much time and energy you're going to put into it.
True. Because that does involve actually sitting there and watching the whole game.
And that's the part. That is the part I think that's the most difficult, is actually watching the game.
For sure. Not even a question. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm here for the vibes.
100%. I hope both teams have fun.
Amen.
That's how I feel every single game. Go Sports. I have a t-shirt that says Go Sports. That's how I feel. Like, I could not care less. But yeah, that's happening again. Halftime show is Kendrick Lamar. Interesting choice. Not that I don't like Kendrick Lamar. I just don't know what he's going to be rapping on national TV in front of kids.
Is he the one who sings the song about catching a grenade? Is that his?
That'd be Bruno Mars.
Okay, never mind.
And he has done it before. Kendrick Lamar.
They do rhyme though.
Bruno Mars. Kendrick Lamar. Sure.
Dude, I don't know who you're looking at. Okay, fine. Continue.
So Kendrick Lamar he did the the song about Drake. I feel weird singing it. But he also does If Pyros and I don't want to sing that one either. Like
I don't know. I quite frankly don't think it matters what song you sing. I know the name Kendrick Lamar, but I really doubt that I'm gonna know any song that you might think of unless it was like, playing in every Walmart in America for like a solid calendar year.
No, they're not gonna be playing this music.
So I'm out.
Yeah, it's not like Rihanna. When Rihanna did it, that was just amazing. I was so excited.
Yeah, rest in peace to that Super Bowl.
And she was pregnant. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was crazy. Crazy in a good way.
Yeah. Who was it last year?
I don't remember.
Oh, it was Usher. And I did not know nearly as many songs as I thought I would.
Sad.
Yeah, I skipped over that phase of my life. Okay. Next story. Do you want to talk about Billy Ray Cyrus next, or do you want to talk about the calendar next?
I think I have more opinions about the calendar, so do with that what you will. I don't have a strong preference on either, but you'll have to fill me in on the Billy Ray Cyrus thing, because I saw something about it, but not much.
Let's do Billy Ray Cyrus first.
Okay.
And then let's end on a high note. Billy Ray Cyrus, for those that don't know, that is Hannah Montana's dad. He actually played Billy Ray Stewart on the Hannah Montana TV show. So, context. Billy Ray had an awful, everybody should look it up, his performance for the inauguration. He was slurring his words, clearly drunk. They were trying to get him off the stage. It was embarrassing. It was sad. It was embarrassing and sad. I can't imagine, putting yourself in his shoes, the son's shoes, seeing your dad do that on live TV. It was awful.
Yeah.
They cut his mic. That's how it got.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this article is from the New York Post. Billy Ray Cyrus' family is genuinely worried about him after performance. Billy Ray Cyrus' son, Trace Cyrus, has issued a dramatic plea to his famous father days after Billy Ray's disastrous performance at one of the presidential inaugural balls. He wrote, quote, "I barely recognize you. The day you adopted..." Oh no, okay. I don't want to... There's a bunch of fluff. I just really want to read what he wrote. Mm-hmm. He said, "I barely recognize you. Since my earliest memories, all I remember is being obsessed with you and thinking you were the coolest person ever. I wanted to be just like you. The day you adopted me was the happiest day of my life. Sally, that man that I wanted so desperately to be, I barely recognize now. It seems the world has beaten you down and it's become obvious to everyone but you. You may be upset for me for posting this, but I really could care less at this point. Me and the girls have been genuinely worried about you for years, and you pushed all of us away. Noah, which is Miley's younger sister and an amazing singer, honestly one of my favorites.
I love her songs, yeah.
Yeah, I have not heard a song I didn't like by her. Noah desperately has wanted you to be part of her life, and you haven't been there for her. That's your baby girl. She deserves better, and somehow, just like me, she still idolizes you, though. We're all hanging on to the memories of the man we once knew and hoping for the day he returns. You're not healthy, Dad, and everyone is noticing it. Just like how I showed up for you at Mama's funeral when you didn't expect me to, I'm still here right now. As I write this with tears in my eyes, I hope you realize this message only comes from a place of love and also fear that the world may lose you far too soon." Adding that he's over a year and a half clean from alcohol. So the son also had a substance abuse problem, and he's gotten clean. So the reason why I brought this up is just a myriad of reasons. Number one, it's pop culture. It's something we all know who Billy Ray Cyrus is. Because actually, fun fact, my family played this game. It was old heads versus new heads, something like that, for Christmas, like my extended family, and it was like questions. Like they asked, so everyone born, I think it was like after 1980 was on one team, or very born before 1980 was another team. They were asking us questions about a generation, and one of the questions they had was, "Who sings Achy Breaky Heart?" I immediately, Billy Ray Cyrus, and everyone's like, "What? How'd you know that?" And I'm like, "Hello, Hannah Montana's dad." So like he's been a part of culture, and like, you know, we saw him on TV. Obviously, all I know is Achy Breaky Heart, but you know, he's still a part of culture. So I wanted to talk about that for that aspect, and then also like I think this is just kind of like sad that it's come to this, that it comes to him writing online, and like I'm very much don't do personal stuff, like keep your personal business offline. But I do kind of get from a celebrity, and like it seemed like this is a desperate plea. Like this is he seemed like there's no other way to communicate with him. Like this will definitely, like if this were me, you definitely would have my attention. I'd be so embarrassed after everything that's happened. You'd have my attention. So it's just really sad. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I think it's a little different if you're bringing something to a public forum that didn't initiate itself on a public forum.
That's true too, yeah.
So, since it was a public performance, anyone who was watching the inauguration saw, you know, like very obviously people were trying to shut him down. Like it was not at all subtle, not at all like, oh, somebody might have missed that, you know? I think it would be almost odd for someone in the family not to address it. And yeah, I think you get to a point if you're dealing with a family member or a loved one who is destroying themselves like that, you get to a point where it's like the opinions of literally anyone don't matter right now because I'm just trying everything I can to like save your life at this point. So yeah, I mean that's really sad, and my heart goes out to his family who's been, you know, I mean when you've got somebody who's an addict of any kind, there's, you know, there's ups and there's downs and there's, oh, okay, I'll go to rehab, I'll go, and then there's back down, you know, to like, so I'm sure that this has been a roller coaster that they've been riding for quite some time if it's gotten to that point. So I do hope that he has reached the point as well where he's realized, okay, you know, whatever skeletons I've got in my closet, whatever triggers I have that are making me like use this as a coping mechanism needs to stop. It needs to end, and I need to get help because I mean, I don't know very much about the other Cyrus kids. I didn't even know he had a son that he adopted. That's news for me. But
He's from Metro Train. Shake to shake, shake it. Shake. Keep talking. I'll show you the song. You'll recognize it.
okay, that sounds maybe vaguely familiar. But like, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Like Miley, with everything that she's gone through, you know, and just her, like, I mean, she's grown up in the spotlight, which comes with its own struggles and being a Disney Channel kid and everything. But like, I mean, even, and then with her, like, divorce and all of that, like, yeah, like, these kids need their dad to be stable. They need a strong, you know, like, male leader in their life, and they may have found that in somebody else, but it should be him, you know, like.
Well, also, you know, he went through a divorce last year too.
I did not know that, but
well, let me really quick.
Yeah.
In 2022, he married Fire Rose. The two met over a decade on the set of Hannah Montana.
Oh wow!
And so she was young when they met, you know, on the set of Hannah Montana. And then they were married October 10th, 2023, and they got divorced May 22nd, 2024. Not even a year. So there's clearly something going on.
Yeah, that's really sad. Yeah. I mean, I don't like make it my business to like keep up with people's personal lives, like especially people that I'm not actually in their personal life, so I'm not super filled in on stuff like that. But yeah, super sad, and I hope he gets better, you know, because I think America will miss him. I think the world will miss him. I think his family will miss him, you know, even if he doesn't die and he just continues
This behavior.
Right, exactly. They'll always miss the person that he was before. You know, like people I know who have kids or family members that are addicted or whatever. It's like you always just you miss the person that they were before because it just changes you. Like if you're just constantly thinking about how to get that feeling back of being, you know, drunk or high or whatever, like you're not present in the moment. You're not that person anymore, you know. So I hope I hope this is the end of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I hope he can look back on this moment a year from now, 2 years from now, and be like, that was the day I knew, you know, and like
Yeah.
make some kind of light at the end of the tunnel, because otherwise that's just like a horrifically embarrassing day for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I hope this is a wake up call as well. And I kind of want to, we talk about celebrities and whatever, but like I also kind of want to bring it to like our own lives. I personally have not been super close with anyone who has had any sort of addiction. So, I can't necessarily speak on it from that perspective. But it also makes me think, like, when do we draw the line? When I watch, I wouldn't say I like, but like sometimes if it's on, I'll watch something about like families who have family members that are struggling, and like just listening to like when the line is that you kind of like, okay, this person, I can't help them anymore. There was that TV show where it was like American Crime. One season, like the plot line was this couple, they were both like addicts, and one of the couple's sisters was doing everything she could, and she just could not. And I forgot, he's like a famous conservative content creator on Twitter. He always talks about how one of his brothers is an addict, and he talks so poorly about his brother. And I don't feel bad saying this, because like he would say terrible things about his brother, so I don't feel like I'm like telling his business. And as someone who isn't going, anytime someone like pushes back, like, no, man, you got to keep it. He's like, it's clear you've never had a family member to go through this, which is why whenever I hear, whenever people are like drawing the line, I actually have stopped, trying to judge people, because I don't know. Like, I have no idea. But it does make you think, like, when you have, or even friends, like, I don't necessarily have any friends that are like going through something similar, but I do have friends that I'm kind of like, okay, there's some habits you have that you probably should start stopping soon. And like, where do you draw the line to like, hey, this is something that's like hurting you. I really need you to like get it together. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when somebody else's behaviors start impacting your own personal health and safety, or the health and safety of people that you're introducing to the situation, I feel like that's when you need to take a step back. Because yeah, if I'm in a safe, healthy position, I can always extend a hand out to help somebody else. Like that's what Christ calls me to do. But he doesn't call me to fall into the muck,
into the pit with them.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. So that's where just spiritual discernment comes in. That's where good, healthy community and accountability comes in, where people can tell you if you're starting to conform to those patterns or those behaviors or whatever, and you need to be able to say, okay, this is clearly, I'm not helping you. I'm only hurting myself or other people. And it's time for me to release the situation to God, because he's the only one that can intervene now. You're not willing to hear from me or listen to me. So there's no benefit to either of us for me to continue to expose myself or my family or whatever it might be to your shenanigans.
Yeah.
That's
tough. If you are listening and you are going through that, just know, like, my heart truly goes out to you. I can't imagine. And, if you want to talk about it in any capacity, I'm here to listen and learn, I guess. Listen and learn. So, yeah. So I don't know how to transition to the next story. So I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to transition to the next story. Our last story, which we both have a lot to talk about, a lot to say. Let me pull up the docket again. Actually, sorry, really quick. I want to show you the song that the brother is singing. Because you're going to recognize it.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, that's another Cyrus bop.
Wow.
They're a family of bop makers, really.
Truly a talented family.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can come back together after it sounds like they've been through a lot.
Yeah. And I think that also goes to like, and what's so hard, there are families who are going through this exact same thing right now, but they're not in front of people. And I'm sure it makes it 1,000 times worse. 1,000 times worse. Anyway, so transitioning to something much lighter, but also very upsetting. The calendar guy is back again. If you guys remember last year, Seth Weathers is his name. He created calendar, conservative dads, MAGA babes calendar.
Oh, wait, a man created this?
Yes, girl.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I don't know why in my mind, I don't know who I thought created this. Okay, continue.
Yes. So Seth Weathers is a CEO, conservative dad of ultra right beer and border wall tequila.
Oh, tequila.
Tequila on a mission. Order online now. Okay, so that's his bio on Twitter. He created this calendar, a dad calendar, which I will you guys will see pictures because I'll have this as a discussion on the Instagram page. And you can let me know what you think. He created this calendar. This is the second year doing it. And there's a lot of problems wrong with it. The picture, let me see if I can show you. For those listening, you're just gonna have to look. Okay, that's terrible. Okay, you can't really see it.
I could I mean, you could vaguely describe it though. It's like a woman wearing an apron and
without a bra.
Right, just an apron, and she's
Literally
throwing flour on a man, and who knows, he's power posing it, unbothered by the flour, sprinkled across his face, etc., etc. He gets to be fully clothed. Let's know.
Right. And then other pictures in there are women in a bikini, woman laying on a nice fancy car in a dress that's kind of short. Same woman. This time she's wearing heels, just the apron and a MAGA hat. Next woman is in a construction outfit. Don't care, that's fine. Bikini, 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 one piece, t-shirt, bra, and a red tie and a MAGA hat. I guess it's underwear, a sweatshirt, boots, and a Santa hat. Weird. So that's the calendar. And his argument is men, we want hot women. There's something wrong with men liking hot women. Absolutely not. Don't get me wrong. I think men should like hot women. To me, the most devious part of this whole thing is that it's marketed to dads. Imagine, sit with me here. Imagine you're at home, you took care of the kids, you just dropped them off at your mom's because you needed a break for a second, and you're driving over, you're like, I'm going to surprise my husband with some lunch. You at his job. You drive over after, being a stay-at-home mom or working with your kids. You drive over to meet your husband. You surprise him at work. You turn and you see on his wall this woman literally not wearing pants. I think she's wearing either bikini bottoms or panties, some sort of sweatshirt and boots. And this is a woman that's not you, mind you. This is a random woman.
Right, presumably. Not every man in America gets to put his wife on a calendar in a sweatshirt and boots.
Hanging in there. And then he goes, yeah, babe, we're owning the libs. Look at this. I mean, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
The most devious part to me, like I said, is that it's marketed to dads because you can't sit here and say that this isn't a lustful. Now, we can discuss whether we can have a conversation about modesty, but the posing, it's not posed or intended to just own the libs, because if that was the case, they could have done so many other things, and
they could have put some men in there. It would have been fine.
They could have put some men in there. And another argument, and then you can give your opinion. I saw another argument that was really good, that it doesn't even look like art. It looks like a cheap movie. It just doesn't look like, and I know it's supposed to be like this. I don't know. I'm assuming he wants it to be like this. We're owning the libs. Look how hot we are. Look at it. And I don't think that's not what it's conveying. It's conveying I'm trying so hard to be cool. And as someone who tries so hard to be cool, I can tell you that's not it. That's not it.
It's not the way.
It's not the way. Okay, Elise, what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, where to begin, quite frankly. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the most disappointing, because you're always going to have one person out there who thinks they're being cool, who was bullied heavily in school and whatever. And so now he's like, look at all of these hot women I can get to pose for my calendar. Whatever. You're always going to have somebody who's going to think that that's a phenomenal idea. But the fact that he's going in for year 2 implies that it did well year 1.
Oh, that's a
So,
good point too. Oh,
so,
Elise.
so that's sad that people are
Yeah,
actually like buying this and,
yeah,
presumably hanging it up somewhere for people to see. It's embarrassing. It truly is for you to brand yourself conservative and be so provocative. And there's a difference between, okay, you see a woman, any woman on the street who's wearing a fitted outfit, that fits her body or whatever, and you're like, she's, whatever, causing me to stumble. Okay, no, she's not. She's wearing clothes that look good on her. Sorry. And then those are, I mean, especially like spread out on the hood of a car, like textbook, like I don't know that I'd go so far as to say like pornographic images, but like those are,
okay.
yeah, I mean, it's
I would say that.
maybe you're not pulling up your, whatever dark website and like looking for that specific image, but like it's not an innocent photo. It's not intended
Right.
to be. So I think that is I don't know, it's just sad. It's embarrassing,
Yeah.
and I don't claim responsibility for it,
Right.
but like at the same time it's like, really, guys? Like, really? I don't know. You couldn't have put some whatever cool facts about like conservative figures, like
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some of those same women, like I think last year I saw like is it Riley Gaines, the
Yes.
swimmer, like was in
Yes.
it, and I'm like, oh, she's so cool. She's accomplished a lot and she's doing a lot, and like genuinely like a beautiful, smart, well-spoken woman. What on earth was she doing in that? Like what on earth were some of these women doing in that? We couldn't have had them like like a power pose,
Right.
wearing clothes, and like a bullet point of like what they've done that's been like monumental, like.
Or even her, like, what would have been really cool is if, and she's in her bathing suit still,
Mhm.
with holding her ribbon that she won, like, in
Right.
a different context. That would have been really cool too.
Right.
But I want to point out the thing with Riley. My friend and I were talking about this. She made a good point. Riley's not in this one. Now, I wonder what that, thankfully,
Mhm.
but, that also makes me think, like, maybe she could see, like, hey, this maybe was not the right decision.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes I just be yapping, but I think she started off as just like a regular person and then she lost and then she became like an activist, I guess you could say. So I think maybe when she was received all these opportunities, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, well, I'll just take every opportunity. This is so exciting. Like, oh, you want me to be? And she wasn't really thinking it through.
Who knows?
And I think now maybe she's a little bit choicier and wiser with her, the things that she participates in. She at
Yeah.
least didn't get back to me to come on the podcast. So, but anyway, that's another conversation. So she definitely is choicier and wiser. You open invitation if you ever listen to.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I do think that probably has something to do with it. And I don't think necessarily because I remember she was in it, but hers wasn't like provocative. There was someone else who I was disappointed was in it, and theirs wasn't like super like provocative. So
Mhm.
I'm also wondering if the first time people didn't know
Yeah.
really what all was going into it.
Right. I mean, that's what I was gonna say. It could very well have been marketed to any of these women as something totally different, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, if you're wearing something crazy or doing something crazy, all right, I don't know what somebody told you
Mhm.
that made you think this was not gonna be like like a kind of a sexually explicit calendar, but like, yeah, for people that were in it, that their poses or their whatever were more innocuous, like, yeah, who knows how much information you were given on, like, like this is gonna be a full calendar of women, like, and taking advantage of whatever, like their looks or their generosity or what have you, yeah. So that's not at all like shade to any of these
No, no
people,
shade.
but like, shame on the people that are creating it, I guess, and also that
100%.
are buying it and encouraging it,
The men.
because
Let's be honest about who's doing it, men.
right. I mean, and who knows? Like, I don't think it's a healthy relationship dynamic, but I would be disingenuous, I think, if I said I couldn't imagine a scenario where a wife, maybe not in totally knowing what was in this, was
Yeah.
like, boys will be boys, like, we'll own the libs, babe, like, like, look what I got you. Because, like, I mean, it just
There are people who think that way, sure.
there are, yeah. And, you know, so
Sure.
it's like, I'm not gonna say, I don't know that I feel confident saying it's 100% men. It's definitely like geared towards and marketed towards men, but you
I'd
know.
say 95%, yeah. You're
Right.
right, you're right. There are some women who will just like go along with it. But what this all makes me think of is, I want to say maybe like a year or so ago, I was talking with one of my friends that leans definitely more left of center, and he made a point that he said a lot of conservative media, a lot of conservative stuff is really just reactionary. It seemed like it's hard for conservatives to like create their own things. And that really got me thinking, because like the podcast was kind of reactionary. I will say I have carved out my own lane, like not to brag. But I do think this podcast has turned into its own thing. Like you can say it's similar like to other podcasts, but I definitely don't think it's still not. Yeah. Anyway, and I think that's something that we do have to, think about in our movement or in our, amongst our peers, is all of our content reactionary? Can we work to make good content? Because like I saw another tweet that was like that picture that's going viral of the girl of the MAGA party.
I don't know if I have seen it.
Okay, well, there's this picture. I'll send it to you. There's this picture that's going viral of this party, and it was supposed to make us look like we're bad and evil. But honest to God, it looks like it's a fun party. Like, but it was created by the left. And the tweet was something like, the left makes us look better than we make ourselves. Like, what does that say about us? So, okay, I'm sending it to you now on Instagram.
Yeah.
It was the cover of the New York magazine. New York magazine.
Yeah, that is true. We have to get better at marketing. Like, please.
Yeah.
I'm begging somebody.
Yeah. And I think, and this is a call to everyone who's creative that listens. We need you out here. We need you in this space. Sometimes people, I think that there was a time where it felt like you couldn't be conservative and like be into art, be conservative, be writers. I mean, we're two people who I definitely wouldn't call my writing conservative in the sense of like, I'm not talking about politics.
Yeah.
But I just happen to have conservative values. And I think we need more of that. And to be less reactionary. I'm working on that myself. I mean, I saw the calendar and I actually texted Elise and I texted a couple of other people like, I need to start my own calendar. And that is an example of reactionary. That's not
but a good reactionary.
A good reactionary. But I think it's also time for me to like take a step back and like, okay, let's be more creative. Let's think of some other things. And because I love art. I like the creatives and I like being creative. Shopthepinkrose.com. I love it all. So like I want to see more of that from our time. I mean, even people I follow on Instagram and like TikTok that do like jewelry, like that make jewelry and do commentary on like clothes and fashion. It's so hard because like 95% of them are not conservative, and they would probably be angry if they knew that I was one and I was consuming their content. I'm just thinking of this one particular girl. I love watching her stuff so much, and she hates me. So it's like, but the reality is there's no one who is being original and like who's putting forth that type of good content on our side. So I just kind of have to bend and grit for watching her stuff. So anyway, all this to say, like, I think that's another thing that this just makes me think of. Like, we have to see, I think we shouldn't be just creating what that is. It's just like the calendars from the 90s that were in, like, that were degenerate, for lack of a better word, the degenerate calendars from the 90s, but then just slapped MAGA and conservative on it. And like, that's not unique. That's not cute. That's not fun. That's not helpful to the movement. And that completely takes away from what we say that we believe when we say that we are conservative. It takes away from the traditionalism, the modesty, the basic of like not putting out content that is like intentionally, trying to think of the right word.
Sexually suggestive.
Yeah, there we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So yeah, Elise, any other thoughts you have on that?
I'll keep it brief because I'm sure we're kind of trying to
we're kind of close.
Coming to a close, people. I think it bothers me a lot that it like sexualizes women doing things, like everyday
Ooh.
things, work things. Like it's just like specifically the one that you said where it's like she's wearing like a construction hat and like a construction-y outfit. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, so keeping the theme of the rest of these photos, this is clearly something where it's like, wow, look how hot that is. Like it's a beautiful woman dressed in blue color gear. You know what it's like? Okay, so that just makes me as a woman feel very threatened because it's like, okay, so where can I go? How can I just like who can I be that will be safe from you? That's it's predatorial. It really is.
Yeah.
You know, like I go to work and I wear like my restaurant t-shirt and a black pair of pants or a pair of leggings. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that something you want to slap on a calendar and have men be oogling? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just very odd behavior. It's very odd. And I think it comes a little bit from like those feast calendars that you were mentioning, you know, like romanticizing the good old days and not like balancing that with a reckoning of how decrepit some areas of society were back in the day. You know, like, okay, yeah, you had family values, you had families coming around the dinner table, you had whatever neighbors standing up for each other, you had a strong sense of like community and patriotism. Phenomenal, great, love to see it. But you also had, you know, unjust treatment of, you know, African Americans. You also had a lot of unfair gender roles and, you know, like very unbalanced power dynamics in a couple of different areas. So if we just look back and we say, oh, we're conservative, we just want to take it back to how it was in the good old days, it's like, okay, so how are you looking to improve on the way that it was in the good old days? Because the good old days were not that good for everybody. You know,
Yeah.
like we can't just return to whatever utopian society you dream of that you think it was like. If we could just go back to whatever year, pick one in your mind. There were problems there just as much as there were cool things about it or things that we miss, you know?
Yeah.
So like keeping yourself accountable on like, all right, what am I doing that's furthering, you know, like harmful culturally accepted things, and what am I doing to like correct the issue, you know? Because I mean, that's an issue. You can't just take women and say, no matter how dressed or undressed you are, you're, you know, like you are an item for me to photograph and stick on my wall like some kind of like bug collection, you know, that
Yeah.
you, like stick like little push pins in and you're like, ah, great, that'll be there
Yeah.
for me to enjoy on some kind of weird rainy day, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
very odd, and people need to do better. We
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. It's gross.
Mm,
It's very gross. And I just can't get over that it's marketed to dad. So ideally, people who are married already.
right. Crazy.
That's absolutely insane to me. I think we can do better. I think
Yeah.
we should do better. And I think, yeah. Anyway, everyone, let me know your thoughts. Do you think the calendar is a big deal? Yes or no? Do you think that we're overreacting about saying that it's gross? What do you think about the guy? Well, never mind. Don't tell me. I don't want to attack the guy. What do you think about the guy who created it? I don't want to attack the guy that created it. I want to attack the product. The product is what's important or not important. Yeah. And then like, you know, what do you think about the concept of like everything we're doing is reactionary right now? And especially now, like the tides are turning on like conservatism and Republicans in like our favor. So like now is really the time to go ahead and put forth good content, good creativeness. Now is the time to do that. So what do you think about that idea, the concept of being reactionary? Are you a creative? If you are creative, please hit me up. There's some ideas that I really would like your input on and would like to have your help with. And so yeah, Elise, anything else you want to add?
Nothing that wouldn't take this conversation far too long. So, you know, everybody just stay wise. Just really think through things you do, things you post, things you say, things you make. You know, it matters. It might outlive you, you know? So be careful, be wise, be prayerful.
Yes.
Think.
All right, ladies. I hope you have rate, review, subscribe, tell all your friends. Yeah, follow Elise on her social stuff. I'll tag it. Yeah, I guess that's it. Have a good day, night, evening, however, wherever you're listening. Bye.
Bye.